Yeah, check 1 2, check 1 2. Is this mic on? Is this mic on? Hey, listen, man, it's the one and only trendsetter DJ Sense, and you're listening to CockTales, dirty discussions with Kiki and Medinah, Monroe. Yeah.
Today's cocktail is called Breakfast at Tiffany's. I just feel like I gotta laugh. Is someone getting married? Okay. The ingredients you need are some blue curacao, some lemon juice, and some sparkling water. But I just combined them and got the limonata Pellegrino because I love the way it tastes. It's nice and crispy. And some Prosecco. So this drink is really simple, just like your wedding should be, and dating should be, and your love life should be. But who knows what they're talking about? Not me. You're just going to layer all of the ingredients into a glass. You can do a champagne flute or you could do one of these. I don't know what it's called because I'm not a real bartender. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm not actually gonna start with the champagne because I did that last time and it overflowed. We're going to start with just a little bit of blue curacao so we can have the drink blue like breakfast at Tiffany, like Tiffany's, the jewelry store. We are going to, remember I told you I'm not doing lemon juice and sparkling water separately. I got the one that's combined. So we're gonna pour a little in. Ooh, color. I really like this stuff, so that's why I put so much. Then we're gonna take our Prosecco and, ooh, I'm really pouring. And this, my friends, is a breakfast at Tiffany's. Let's taste it. It looks tasty. Oh, it's good, y'all. Make this, and it's simple. Cheers.
Welcome back to CockTales Dirty Discussions, you guys. I'm Kiki Said So.
Hey, y'all. I am Medinah Monroe, or Coffee Bean Dean, whatever you want to refer to me as.
How are you today?
I'm doing really good. This week we have a guest. I'm going to introduce her real quick. We got my girl Shanicia Boswell here. I'm giving them your government. And we've had Shanicia on the show before a long time ago. We were in a totally different studio. Everybody was in different places of their life. She is from the creator of Black Mom's Blog, Self-Care Retreat, wrote Oh Sis, You're Pregnant, and you have a new book out for little girls who are starting their period.
The Girl's Guide to Puberty.
The Girl's Guide to Puberty?
The Girl's Guide to
The Girl's
Puberty.
Guide to Puberty. I'm going to buy that book for Apple and Olive whenever I have them. You guys, we got Shanicia here today.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming back. You look good.
I feel good.
You do.
I feel good.
What got you feeling good?
I'm 34. I'm 35. I'm 35.
You are 35.
You know what's
aging.
funny? I do that too, like forgetting how old I am.
Listen,
all
I feel like the
time.
older you get, the more you just like fall into yourself. And I'm in this real place of like self-acceptance and going to the gym and working out. I had Medinah with me at the park and, you know, just like get my life together because you realize that your metabolism doesn't hit the same way anymore. You actually have to work.
That
to
is
look
a
good.
real thing when you
Don't.
get, if you're not one of those people that's just blessed to be staying small, which I'm not, you got to work for
You
it.
gotta work
Shanicia
for
is
it.
who introduced me to Hills for Atlanta. And I
Okay.
threw up that first day. I was so embarrassed.
Really?
Shanicia was like, where's Medinah? I'm at the
She did.
trash can.
But I think I was more embarrassed that you were like grasping the Atlanta trash can. I didn't care about the throw up, but I was like, her arms are on the trash.
You know when you're
She's
about to
touching the
die.
trash can.
You don't even care
didn't
about
even
what's
care.
clean, what's dirty. It's just like, get this out of me.
You see movies when girls like throw up and they hold the toilet and you're like, why are you touching? Why is your head in there?
Sometimes
like that?
that's
'Cause
just
it's
how
like
you
that.
gotta get it. I was holding the public Piedmont Park homeless trash can.
So what have you been up to since the last time you were here with us?
Oh my gosh. So I had an afro. I got my locks back. I moved out the country. I feel like I had a mental breakdown.
Excuse me?
I was all over the place. And so I just moved back to Atlanta in March and settling back in and just like trying to find some root. I feel like my root chakra has been so unstable in the last few years. And I'm just really looking to like ground myself. So
You moved to Colombia.
I moved to Colombia.
And
almost
what
2
part?
years ago, Medellin.
Okay.
Tell the people why.
There's so many reasons. But the one that's relatable to this podcast is I was going through a horrible breakup and I felt like I needed to run away. You ever like dated somebody who made you feel like you had to escape the earth?
Have I?
Yeah.
Escape the earth. I can't eat. When you got me not being able to eat, I don't care if I'm making money or not. I say it all the time. I'm not good with breakups.
I quit Atlanta. I was like, I have to go. I can't be here no more. And so I left. There were so many other reasons. And every time somebody asks me this, there's a different reason for why. Why'd you go? Was it because, and I'm like, well, in this case, it was a horrible breakup and I needed to reset. So I left.
You know, I admire you for that because I'm one of those people where we all travel. You have your retreat company. I travel with my retreat. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, I'm going to move out of the country. I'm going to live out of the country. I'm going to do. And then when I am there, my retreats are long. We're there for about 2 weeks. I'm like, I can't really I can do it for a minute. You really picked up and moved, had an apartment, took her child. Like everything is just.
I can imagine doing that.
Everything's so different.
Yeah,
and then being away from family. Do you have a lot of family here?
I have family in South Georgia, but I've always been that like odd loner child. Even when I was younger, I've always been to myself. So even moving to Atlanta, I just kind of left. So that part wasn't hard for me. Like I talked to my mom on the phone. My mom and my daughter are super close, but I had to go. I had to go. So my lease was coming up and I was just like, I sold everything. And went over there for a month, found an apartment, came back, got my child, and went over there. And I think the first month I was in anxiety and depression every single day because I was just like, did I do the right thing? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Everybody's talking about leaving the country, but when you actually do it, it feels like somebody is literally stumping on your chest every single day. It's tough. It's tough.
When you went out there, did you already know how to speak Spanish?
Girl, I still can't speak Spanish.
Because that's another thing that I think about is like potential language barriers. I know that a lot of people will speak English all over the world, but everywhere, everybody is not doing that and they're not going to adjust.
In Colombia, they don't speak any English at all. I know enough Spanish to get by, but I'm from the South. I can't roll my R's. I have an accent that will not. I can't do it. I can't do it. And so that was a struggle for me, but I knew enough Spanish to like survive and get by. So it was really just this process of winging it. But for those first few months, I just needed to stay in the house. And that's what I did. We found a nanny. We found a housekeeper. I had this beautiful like two-story pit house. And I was just like living my best soft mom life. And something that I don't get to do here as much because Atlanta is so expensive.
I was going to ask about that too. Cost of living differences.
Very low. Very low. I'm just going to say that. It was crazy. I was paying less for my big apartment there than I was paying here.
That's the one thing that will make you be like, I might really just.
Yeah, especially depending on what you do for a living. If you can have that luxury to live somewhere else and get paid in US dollars.
A friend of mine just bought property in Costa Rica or Tulum very cheap. And when I say very cheap, it was like $20,000.
Yeah, that's how it was. You could find places, but in my mind, I love traveling. And it's just like you said, you go to a place and everybody's like, they want to go. There's nothing like America.
Oh, the infrastructure. I need it. I need to flush my tampon down the toilet.
There's lots of comfortabilities here that I say all the time. Every time I come back from anywhere, it's just like, that was nice. It was beautiful. Great experience. But I miss some pieces of home.
I didn't miss it until I was in Colombia and then I met this, I went to Europe for like a month on some real like, hot girl shit.
Can I have your life?
And I went there for a month. I stayed with this man that I met in Colombia that I just, I was going through it. And he took me on a road trip through Europe. We went to Belgium and Germany and Switzerland and all parts of Italy, Milan, Tuscany, Florence. And I was just like,
this sounds like a movie.
Are you going to write a book about this?
I don't know.
This is good.
I could tell a story.
Yeah.
And it's tough because I'm like super private. I don't like people in my business.
Write it like it's fiction.
Yeah, we won't
Write
tell
it like
anybody.
It's fiction. Use a different name.
Did he speak English? Like, did you know
He
enough
was
Spanish
Dutch.
to date?
He was
Dutch. And our second date, he took me to Guatemala and we hiked a mountain and saw Volcan de Fuego.
You are so adventurous.
I miss being single. Oh my God, that sounds like so much fun.
Like even just the idea of picking up and going and just meeting people and living out these experiences where it sounds cool and it's like, oh, your life is a movie. No, your life is really a movie.
He was white, y'all. That was the most adventurous.
Yeah, that's what I figured when you said Dutch.
That is one thing I like about going to Europe.
Yeah.
They love Black women. I have
never felt so loved and so seen. You be like, y'all not playing.
I feel like people were gatekeeping it because for years, everywhere you looked online, they're like, you don't like Black people. Europe hates us. Italy hates us. I'm like, what part of where are you going? Because
and then I think people got to remember that's your own experience, and maybe it wasn't the Black part they didn't like. Sometimes people don't want to think that.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never had an issue traveling, but I'm never here to discount anybody's experience because the internet gets really mad about that kind of stuff. But in my personal experience, I've never had any of those problems. But I was in a very like adventurous state. I was very alone, and I dated him, and he was cool. And then I was like, dang, I miss Black men. I can't do this for real. I can't. Black men, we love you.
We love you. Come home.
Help me, okay? I'm trying to be here with you.
It's like, okay, I hear you, girl, but
listen. And with as expensive as it is to live, I always wonder, why don't people understand the importance of loving each other? Because 2 + 2 = 4, but 1 + 0 = 1.
And it's always going to equal
right?
1.
So, well, before we learn more about you and everything you have going on, we do have a couple announcements. I wanted to let you guys know, speaking in the sense of adventure and travel, we are going to Curacao for the trip next year. It will be March 19th through the 23rd. I'm really, really excited about it. You said it's your birthday?
March 19th? I think I got that on my calendar.
It is such a beautiful place. It's a Dutch island too. Huh?
You might get
and we got the Curacao and the drink. Look at that. And I'm in my Curacao blue. Anyway, you guys, if you've never been here, I know I have said a lot about it. I don't want to take too much time today, but I want to let you know it's going to be a great time. We're going to eat good. We're going to relax. We're going to get out and explore the island. And we're going to have some really cool experiences. If you're interested in joining me on this trip, click the link in the description box below. Or if you have questions and you're not quite sure and it's something I don't know what could be on your mind, email me or DM me, info@kikisaidso.com. And remember, it's Kiki with an I, not an E.
Kiki with the E just looks so different, and you would be a whole different person if you spelled it with an
I always
E.
think of Kiki Palmer when I see it with the E.
Yeah, I don't know what I think. I just think of you would be knock-kneed if it was with an E.
I am a little bit knock-kneed, actually.
You said what?
I am a little bit knock-kneed.
You are not knock-kneed.
Yes, I am. I'll show you in a minute. I usually just try not to show it. Medinah be coming out, and I usually just be quiet. Yeah, because I hate it. And I'm like, what can you do to fix it? Anyway, I hope you guys come with me and my knock-knees down to Curacao. And another thing I learned is Delta will be flying straight there. So I'll be on the Delta flight.
Don't lose your bags. Delta got everybody fucked up.
Some people was losing their bags.
Why? You didn't see what happened? It was all over the news. Something happened with the data and like the computers got messed up.
Oh, I saw that, but I just thought people were stuck places.
People were stuck places and bags just were sitting places.
Lost my bags over the summer.
Well, American goes there, United goes there. A lot of other airlines go there too, but you might have to stop in Miami first. So anyway,
it was a lot. Y'all join Kiki and Blue Carousel with the blue. We are going to play a quick game of I'm Curious to Know with our good sis Shanicia before we dive into our topics.
Okay, so if you could travel anywhere in the world right now that you haven't been yet, where would you go?
I've been a lot of places.
I know. That's why I want you to think about this one. What's still on the list?
I want to go to Canary Islands and I want to go to Seychelles. When I was like 14 years old, my first pair of heels were these heels called seashells. And I didn't know how to pronounce it, so I pronounced it like Seychelles.
And I thought it was Seychelles. You try to make it real exotic.
So that's my Spanish. But I don't know. Like, so when I got older, I realized that this was a real place and it was like off the coast of Africa. And it's the one place that I've just never been that I would like to go. And as much as I travel, I don't get a lot of bay trips. And so I want to go to an island as a bay trip.
It definitely looks like a romantic destination. That's on my bucket list.
Yeah, I honestly have never heard of it, you guys. I got to Google it.
Yeah, a lot of the pictures when you see the hotels, it's going to look like the Maldives because they have those overwater bungalows, but it is so beautiful. Luxury all the way around. It's nice.
Yeah. Really? Shanicia, friend, I'm curious to know, what's your favorite part of your own body?
Ooh. my eyes, and my smile, and my dimple, my face.
I was gonna say, well, that's more than one. Let's round it all out. Your face. Okay.
I love my face. Yes.
Good pick.
Yeah.
Good pick.
That's a good question.
I love that question.
How did you meet your best friend?
Ooh, I have like 3. I'm that person that has like 3 or 4 best friends, but I'm my best friend's only best friend.
Oh,
You're the carry? You're the carry.
I'm the carry in the group. So all of my best friends, I've known them for like 10 years. Love y'all so much. Brenda, I actually met her. My daughter's father was her pianist. And when I first met her, I was like, but then we got really cool. We got real close. And so when me and him broke up, I stole her. So we broke up 7 years ago, but she's mine. So she's like my best friend. She's like my sister. My best friend, Courtney, we met because we lived in the same apartment building. And she has been the one person that has stuck with me through all of my changes. As a Pisces, I have done a lot of things with my life. And she is so non-judgmental. My best friend, Kim, I met her after parenting, and she was kind of like my helpful best friend. Hey girl, can you please come help me? I need to, go somewhere. Can you watch the baby? Can you help me come to the tire? Like, she's that person.
Those friends are so important. It's not like they're going to be like, you're just using me. No, they understand. I need help.
No, I need
I need some help.
Everybody needs their bulldog friend. She will fight for me. Like, that is my homegirl. And so, I have a few best friends, and then my friend Ashanti, who we have a beautiful, story of like falling out and then getting back cool again. And so, excuse me.
How'd you meet her?
I met her. She was my first mom friend.
Okay.
So when I had my daughter, I was 23 years old, and none of my friends had kids. And that feels really crazy, like when you're in the middle of it. Yeah. And so she was like that person who also, I think she was pregnant at the time. And I needed, like, when you first have a baby, you're so stuck into your motherhood that you forget who you are as a woman. And then your friends, they don't know what to do.
Sometimes they don't understand it.
They were like 22. They're like, you pregnant? You living with this man? Y'all got a house? Like, you're done. They like wrote me off the list. I was axed out of the equation. Shanicia didn't exist anymore. I fell into the bucket. And so around that time, I had to like start over. And she was a mom friend that I met. And we just kind of like got to be friends in our mom space, but then we had to learn how to be friends in our woman space. And so that was like the shift and ebb and flow of our friendship. But it's been a roller coaster, but my friends are like my safe spot. That's where I can go do whatever I want to do, and they're going to like show up for me.
I love that.
That is so important.
Okay, I'm curious to know, how important is sex in a relationship?
It's so important. So I'm going to tell y'all a story. I met this man, and I fell in love with him before we had sex with each other. And he was like, I think it's important to wait. We got to like get to know each other. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good with that. Like, and I'm praying to God, like, if this is my guy, if this is him, give me a sign. And he's showing up. I'm talking about, he's like, we're going to get married in a year. All these things are going to happen. We finally have sex with each other. And I started to cry. And he thought I was crying because I was like really excited about it. And I was crying because I was like, God, why? This man's penis was this big. It was so small. And I tried so hard. I tried every time, and he was an asshole.
That's why y'all
know that little meme. It's like, don't talk to me if your penis don't hang over your balls. Yeah. Like, he was the epitome of that. And he was mean. He was mean, and he was just bitchy, and he was complaining all the time.
Did you ever tell him that's why your dick is small?
Well, no. Because I think that when your dick is that small, somebody tells you that you're ready to fight. Yeah. And I don't like men fighting me. So, but when I put him out, because we dated during pandemic, and he had to like move in with me, we got stuck together.
COVID had everybody.
Wait, why did he have to move in?
Well, he was from a whole different country.
So you were just nice. Because you're not
a whole different. Where was he from?
He was from Brazil. We met in Miami at Art Basel. Okay,
it's a long story. To go home, brother. You can't move up in here.
So we're gonna call this 90 Day Fiance.
Friend. I put her on speakerphone. I said, if I go quiet, call the police. Okay, and I cussed him out, and I was like, you got to get yourself. It was pouring rain outside. And I put him out at like 11 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Where did you go? Back to Brazil?
Well, wasn't it closed for a long time? Maybe I don't know. Maybe he
was
had
a
to
lot
find
going
another
on.
friend.
But you know, if you were like from the country, they would let you go back to the
Okay.
country. So yeah, I guess he figured
Brazil
it
is a
out.
wild place. You been to Brazil?
I've never been. I've never had the desire to
It
go.
was. We did a retreat there this year, and we went to the favela. That was the most exciting part of Brazil. I'm not gonna lie, and that's the hood.
Why y'all? I was about to say, why
It
did
was.
you go there?
It was so cool. It had really good food there.
Y'all took like the group or
See, whoever, this wasn't a part of
Okay, I was
like
like,
the retreat.
you know, certain things you just
some
don't want
people
responsibility for.
Some people knew about favelas, and we were like, if you want to come.
That's your
I'm
own
going.
risk.
We rode the little motorcycle, and that was. Anyways, I say all that to say, them men look like they would wring your neck. So I'm glad you had
that
put him
didn't
out.
happen.
Okay, this is my last one. Or do you have one?
I have one.
Go ahead.
How often do you masturbate?
I have a love-hate relationship with masturbation.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel guilty about it.
I feel like
I
that
don't
too.
know. There's nobody to hold me afterwards.
Uh,
I'll like buy a vibrator and use it for like 2 weeks and then throw it away and then get another one.
Why don't you just hide
And so,
Right.
I know where it
Sure.
is. I know where it is. And then so when I travel, I have this rule of thumb: I don't travel with vibrators. So, and I'm like you, I'll be gone for like 2 weeks or a month. So if I want to masturbate, I have to like use my fingers because I think we use toys too much. And you be numb down there, and you be like, and then nothing happens. You be like DJing it, and you know, you just
And then you're like, oh my God.
I don't feel anything. It's
Got a broken
empty.
pussy.
I got a broken pussy. So I try not to do it too much, but I'm normally horny before my period and after my period, like that 3-day window. And so that's when I like to like.
Yeah, it's been so long since I masturbated. I was just
You're in a relationship.
thinking about that. In other relationships I have masturbated now. Don't get twisted, but this one I will say it has my vibrator has cobwebs on it.
Oh dear.
Not
Are you in
my
a relationship?
pussy.
No,
Do you
I just have
masturbate?
a special friend. I do masturbate. And I masturbate. It goes in phases. Usually, well, I would say most of my life, as an adult, I would masturbate often. Like sometimes every day, sometimes maybe in the morning and before I go to bed. Not for a long period of time, like 30 seconds or less, because I'm using the toy. It's going to knock me out quick. And it would just be like a stress reliever or whatever. I liked it. But then I was going through this phase that I'm coming out of now. I just hadn't been interested in sex by myself or with anyone else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't
Do you
masturbate
feel like,
very
though,
often.
when you masturbate with a toy, like, do you actually get turned on, or does it kind of steal your orgasm? Because you don't really have a choice.
It doesn't steal my orgasm. I find it intensifies it. And I don't mind using the toy when I'm having sex with someone. And the toys I like are always clitoral stimulants. I don't really like the dildos.
Yeah.
I save that for the real thing because it's nothing like the real thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I don't find that it takes anything away. There are times where I feel like, okay, I've been doing this too much on too high of a setting. I might really break something or shock myself. But for the most part, no. I use it for a little while. It feels really good. It's efficient.
I can go to bed. I got a question for y'all. Do you think there's a tie between misogyny and vibration, like vibrators during sex?
Yes, because I
don't
feel
get it.
like sometimes men don't want you to use the toys because they feel like they can't compete.
Yes.
And that's another reason they try to tell us not to do it. And talking about desensitizing, that can absolutely happen, but okay.
I guess if a man did that, then I
Like,
would
why
say
are
I've
you
never been in a
discouraging me?
situation. I've never experienced
I
it
like
though.
very
where-
misogynistic men. Like, I don't like to talk
Why
about it.
is
because
that?
I do. I don't know. Patriarchy. People are gonna cancel me for that. But
They're not.
I do. I like very like manly men. And so in a lot of cases, they tend to like teeter into that misogynistic space. Where like the average woman will be like, girl, you can have him. I want nothing to do with that.
When you say manly men, like their look is manly, their activities are
Oh my
manly,
God,
like what?
like be possessive, like yoke me up. Like
Oh,
Now,
okay.
when
Then,
they're
that's
letting the
a little-
misogyny show, besides what you just said, what other ways are they showing it that do turn you on?
I love somebody to be like obsessed with me. So I like very like possessive, like all about you.
Like the man on you?
I like men to have chalant, right? I don't like nonchalant. I like a man that's like for me, into me. And a man that's like also very much into himself. That's why I love Leos. I think that they're like the most cocky sign. And
I'm with a Leo.
I
You
love
want
it.
him?
So no, no. I just want him to keep throwing rocks and baboons.
Oh, we got chased. Me and Shanicia got chased by a baboon in South Africa, and Bae. It was a bunch of us, but Bae and Ayana's Bae had to.
He did
fight the baboon
that kind of stuff right there.
Oh my gosh!
To me, that's manly because if the baboon is coming for us and you hide. I'm gonna judge you forever.
He chased the baboon.
He chased the baboon and threw rocks at the baboon. You know,
like I can appreciate that. But I meant the misogyny part, not the manly part, because I totally get the manly part.
Yeah.
Because who want to be dealing with baboons and bugs and spiders?
You
and
better get it. One time, I remember there was one time, and then we'll move on to weird sex. I was at Clark, and I was hanging out with this guy. He went to Morehouse. I'm not even trying to be funny and rag on the Morehouse man. My man went to Morehouse, but he went to Morehouse, and he was one of the more feminine ones. And I was trying to, when you're younger, you try to give more chances than you.
I did it.
I did. And I was like, more
now than I did then.
I was like, what? We were walking over to the caf at Morehouse and it was nighttime and somebody had jumped out of the bushes. They didn't mean to jump out of the bushes, but they were coming out of the bushes and it scared me. We thought we were about to get robbed. He grabbed me by my shoulders and threw me in front of the danger. He screamed.
Was that the last time you saw him?
After that, I was like, we were going on a little college date. And I was like, so I had to address it. I was like, I can't do this. Like you threw me in front of the danger.
Did you even go on the date?
We did. I was hungry and poor. So
it happens.
No, I don't like that.
It was really bad. I
I
was
don't
like, why
like
didn't
that.
you ever date me? I was like, remember you threw me in front of the danger?
You can't take care of me.
That's not a match, hun. It's not a match. All right, so we are going to move on to weird sex before we ask more questions to Miss Shanicia. Okay.
You said a man is not a necessity, a man is a luxury.
Like dessert. Yeah. A man is absolutely not a necessity.
Did you mean that to sound mean and bitter?
Oh, not at all. I adore dessert. I love men. I think men are the coolest. But you don't really need them to live.
So this week's weird sex, everybody was sending me this story. By the time y'all hear this, it's a little old, but in case you live under a rock sometimes like I do and you're not on the gram, there was another person, not to be confused with the man who had the lungfish in his pee-pee.
What?
Yeah, a few weeks ago. Crazy. So this story takes place in Vietnam. Now, this is reported by the Vietnam News. They made sure to let us know that it was an Indian man, not one of them. It was an Indian man who did this. So anyway, this 31-year-old Indian national was admitted to a hospital in Vietnam just last week. And he had this excruciating abdominal pain. Well, the doctors learned that this man had slipped an eel.
What?
Like an eel. You know the scary things in, what was it, The Little Mermaid and their electric eel, an eel.
Raxel and Jaxel.
Mm-hmm. He put one of those up his butt earlier in the day. And it tried to escape. So the eel had bitten through the patient's rectum and his colon to escape into the abdominal cavity. I guess it was a little too smelly down there for him. Anyway, the patient was immediately examined, underwent several imaging tests, including an x-ray that showed the eel's skeleton lying inside his abdomen. I know I would be looking at the x-ray like, I know you fucking lied.
I think I would have lied.
But they don't see it.
Well, and now you look even more crazy.
I wouldn't have told them that I put it up my butt. I would have said I accidentally ate it. I don't know. I would have blamed it on the restaurant.
But the area of the body he was in.
And how big it was, you didn't chew it.
Because he would be in your stomach if
they would have never got me to admit to that.
They were going to put you in the crazy
still
home.
make it to weird sex.
Did the eel die?
I don't know. Let's see. So they did all of these testings and everything. And so they removed it through his anus. And then they also discovered when they removed it from his anus that there was a large lime inserted in there too, blocking the way. Were you trying to give the eel a little snack for his travels throughout your body? I don't know. So they had the surgery. They sliced his torso open, found the live eel. Okay, so it didn't die. Found it. It was more than 25 inches long and roughly 4 inches in diameter. That's all the way across. The creature and the lime were both removed. And after checking for additional foreign objects hiding inside of him, there were none. They went ahead and stitched him up. He also had to have a colostomy to prevent fecal matter from passing through the cut made by the eel's bite. That is really wild. That hospital has removed all kind of stuff out of men's butts, including bottles, cups, adult toys, and some other things out of different patients' anuses. You guys, they make toys that are specifically for butt play. Now, sometimes those do get sucked up in there, but at least start there. Not an eel.
I just want to know, like, did he get in trouble for that? Because is that animal abuse?
I don't know if they got that over there in Vietnam.
They're like, they probably fried the eel up and put a little orange on it. A little orange chicken.
Somebody else had one up there that was 12 inches. What are y'all doing over there in Vietnam?
Eel play. That's literally the eel play. What is that?
I don't know. But you guys, I hope you find safer options out there. Anyway, that's it for Weird Sex. Thank you guys for sending me that story. Keep them coming.
That's nasty.
Where did they find the story? Do y'all ever question who sent you the story?
That was all
people
over.
send me links, but it was all over social media. But I saw this because I went to see, like, is this a real story? And it was on the Vietnam news, some news outlet there.
That is wild. Soaking wet from VB Health is specifically for vaginal wetness.
You've got to take your supplements to make sure that everything is in perfect working order. VB Health has a simple mission to create supplements that work. And that's what's most important.
A probiotic for your pussy. Oh, don't that sound nice? It sounds healthy. It is healthy. And if you don't have a super soaker, now you can. Like, you need that for sex.
So for our listeners, they have delivered a very special offer. If you visit soakingwet.com and use code CockTales, CockTales, you will get 10% off.
Like, imagine your pussy just getting wet from your own juices. Like, you're not even aroused. Like, you pop your little pills and you're ready to go.
That could be a great thing. It could also be dangerous. So y'all stay safe in these streets. But I do think it's really cool.
I love a good probiotic. Like, literally all of them. I drink my kombucha, but that's for gut health.
So for our listeners, they have delivered a very special offer. If you visit soakingwet.com and use code CockTales, CockTales, you will get 10% off. Or just click the link in the description box below. It will take you to the website and you can get that discount.
All right, you guys, you know that we pre-record. So when we recorded this episode, I wasn't quite sure, but now I do know for sure that the trip, Kiki's Travel Tribe, is live. March 19th through the 23rd, we will be traveling to Curacao, a beautiful island destination right above South America. It's part of the ABC Islands. It is so beautiful, crystal clear, blue waters, nice people, delicious food, and most importantly, great vibes. So I want you guys to join me on the trip. I don't want to interrupt you too long talking about this. So make sure you click the link in the description box and you will be able to sign up to go on the trip with as low as a $300 deposit. Can't wait to see you guys in Curacao.
All right, before we dive into our topics, I do want to remind everybody to stop what you're doing right now. Go to paradiseandvibe.com and come to Iceland with me November 1st through the 6th. We got a lot of shit planned. It's going to be a really good time. And we got a little special surprise for you. So before we get to the topics, y'all, make sure you go do that. All right, Shanicia.
Hey, girl.
I have a question for you.
What?
Since we're really friends and I want you to give me the real answer.
Okay.
You know how on Instagram, you will see men and some women make these comments about single mothers and dating.
Girl.
And be like, it's just, and then sometimes I'm like, why are people so mad? I really have spent time thinking about, like, why does everybody attack the single mom in her dating life, her sex life? Why are we saying that nobody wants a single mom? And I wonder, when men say it or when women say it, does it really come from pain? Like, you saw your mom who was actually a single mom struggle. And so you were...
Or you want to make a single woman feel like she doesn't have other choices so that you can approach her with your bare minimum effort.
Have you ever felt like you were like, I'm a single mom and I'm struggling dating?
No.
And I know you haven't. That's why I was like, I'm gonna ask Shanicia, because I know that storyline isn't yours.
But I think so. Honestly, I feel like it's the responsibility of the woman to feel good about herself. Because if I feel good about myself, you can't make me feel bad about myself. And date people who like you. Stop, running after men who don't want you, who make you feel that way. Because I think a lot of times we look at men like, oh, men like to chase, but we as women like to chase too. And it's a conquer, like, oh, I want this guy over here and he's not giving me the time and attention, or he's making me feel horrible about myself, because those type of men are very vocal. And it's like, this isn't going to work for me. But I feel that a lot of men now just are hurt, and they are also hurt because a lot of women would rather be alone than deal with some of the things they got going on. Like back in the day, all you had to do was provide, but now you have to be likable. And a lot of men just aren't that likable. They don't have the personality that makes a woman want to give into them. Do life with you. Do life. And if you are spending, two of my red flags, I don't date men who are on social media. Like I'm so anti somebody who's like super active into the internet, because to me, you just got too much time on your hand. The internet is a very feminine space. It's a gossipy space. It's a, it's feminine energy online. And so if you're a man that's constantly like in that space of the internet, I'm looking at you a little funny. I think that for our culture, both sides have valid points. There are things that we all need to change, but beating me up because I had I'm 35 years old, okay? I had a wonderful relationship at one point, and we had a baby, and it was beautiful, and I loved it, all parts of it. And it's like, if you are judging me for that, you don't have the mental capacity to take all that I am, and I'm a lot. So if that's your stopping point, if that's your hiccup, you asked me, like, where do we go from there? We go nowhere. I'm not even entertaining that.
Do you feel a way about dating men with children?
No, I typically haven't. But that wasn't by design. It's just coincidental. But no, I think that, my child's father and I have a great friendship. We have a great co-parenting relationship. And so I look for people that don't have drama. So if I meet a man that has a child and he immediately starts telling me bad things about the child's mother, I'm like, can't do it.
Let me back
say
on
it
up.
again.
Can't
for the
do
girls
it.
Who
Will
don't
not do
know.
it. And I need women to understand that. Stop dealing with men who are in that space with their child's mother, because you're going to now be in that space with the child's mother or with you. And so I don't date men who don't take care of their kids. I don't date men who don't have anything good to say about their child's mother, because you chose that person. Right? Like you chose that in the same way you should have chose better. You should have chose better.
It's interesting to hear you say that the internet is a feminine space. I've never heard it put like that, but there have been times when like I see certain posts and do you ever go through the comments and you see someone in there talking crazy? In somebody
in like the shade room or
in the shade room, or on
man.
Justin LA's boys post, and I'll be like,
I hate when I see somebody going back and forth with somebody about gossipy stuff. I think that it can be a feminine space, but I also think it depends on what you're using it for and what you engage with. The stuff that I'm looking at typically is the gossipy stuff. So when I see it, it's just like, what are you doing? Don't you have something else? Why are you arguing with strangers on the internet? I don't like to see the girls doing
strangers
it.
On the internet.
Especially when it's not about you. Now, if you're trying to stick up for yourself or your friend or something, okay, I'll give you a pass, ladies.
But why?
The ladies, but
yes,
because you know them.
Yes.
But if this is a stranger and you arguing about celebrity gossip, are you fucking kidding me?
I saw this
and
lady
talking like you know these people. They don't know you. That is not Big Bruh.
And my thing is with that, there are people in your actual life who need you to show up for them like that. These people don't know you.
And you lay up on the couch scrolling and cussing in the comments.
So yeah, when it comes to men and dating and me being a mom, like I tell people all the time, go touch grass, go outside.
Grounding.
Especially as a woman, because all of this rhetoric that we see online, that these podcast bros and things are talking about, a lot of times these men can't get a woman at all. And it's like, it just feels better to bring somebody down versus lift them up. And I want to make this very clear, because I'm sure it's going to be some man in your podcast wanting to cut me up because I'm talking about this. I don't agree with it when it's women. I don't agree with it when it's men. We got to stop the anti-man, anti-woman talk, because we're all shit out of luck. If you are at this age in your mid-30s to 40s and you're single, it's probably you, all of us. So something's wrong. So there's nothing better, but I think that people are so jaded now and unwilling to like try. We don't know how to be vulnerable anymore.
I was just gonna say, I think people are really afraid to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast when I was on my way here in traffic. And one of the things that one of the hosts said was a beautiful thing about dating that people don't typically look at as beauty is the vulnerability of it.
Oh, it's
like
beautiful.
if you go on dates with people and everything is just horrible and y'all aren't really having good conversations, it's because nobody is even attempting to share anything vulnerable about themselves. There's this wall. And if you don't let it down, you will be having a miserable dating experience. Because I think about when I was dating and when I was dating the person who is now my man, the amount of vulnerability that was had in the very beginning, it makes you be like, oh wow, like you're a real person.
You're a real
That's how you
being.
get to know somebody and find out if they're interesting or not. Because even if you realize in those vulnerable conversations that you don't like the person, you might end up just being friends, or you can leave with it still being a cool experience without feeling like it was such a horrible thing. Sometimes it's both people. Like when we were on Patreon and we were doing our Patreon live, somebody was asking for advice and we were asking her questions like, well, what did you say about this? Because you're telling us you didn't like these things, but what did you do? Like y'all are both there together.
Right.
And sometimes you have to remember that, especially like on a first and second date, people are nervous. We are people. Everybody has different things, different experience levels. What you're already there. What is it to you to try and get to know the person better if they're not sharing anything? You don't know why they do something. They sitting right there. Ask them. You know, and if they don't answer, we'll start sharing about yourself. Sometimes somebody else might need you to just share a little something so that they feel comfortable. And that's the art of conversation.
And if you struggle with the art of conversation, I really urge you to go to I'mCuriousToKnow.com and get our card game. I wasn't even trying to make it an ad, but it really does help the flow of conversation. And there are some nasty questions, but some serious questions.
I tell women all the time to find conversation, listen to audiobooks, right? Listen to podcasts, go outside, get a hobby. A lot of times people don't know how to exist outside of the internet. And so they seem to be this super lively, bubbly person online. And then you meet them and they're like in this cage.
I've been like that. I've seen like girls that you're trying to be friends with like that. And it's like, you seem so fun.
You seem so fun.
Because you can record it 50 times.
Right.
You can try over and over again.
No
you can chop it and screw it. But the internet persona can be very different from your real life persona. And if you are stuck on the internet or whatever you might be stuck on that's not allowing you to live, you've got to get out there.
Or you'll be sad. I want to ask you both a question before we start talking about breakups. What do you think is your most feminine trait about yourself and your most masculine?
My most feminine, I'm very submissive to my partner. Like I am like that girlfriend that's like, oh baby, will you go get me some ice water? Yes, daddy. Yes, I will go do it. Like I love that balance of masculine and feminine energy. And I'm very feminine in my dress and I'm soft in my approach in that way. I'm very touchy-feely in that way with men. And it's interesting because I've talked to men and they're like, you're so soft. Like I've heard that so many times, or I've heard like, you're such a woman, because a lot of women, and I've seen it in, I work with women, there's this just brashness. And I think that a lot of women confuse femininity with like, because we talk about it so much, like I have to appear this certain kind of way, but it's really an energy. It's in how you carry yourself. And so, but on the masculine side of things, I get things done and I'm very intelligent. And so I have had situations with men. And like I said earlier, I like very super masculine men. And they are sometimes in the capacity of like, well, I'm the man, I said so. And I'm like, but you're stupid. Like, and some things I can let it slide. And other times I'm like, well, no, we're not going to go that way because I know better. And I need you to hear me out. And so also being a Pisces, I will reiterate it 15 times. But if I have to get to 16 and you're still not listening to me, I'm cutting you off. I don't care what you got to say. And I'm going to go do what I need to do. And I'm just going to be like,
Yeah. I would agree with you on the masculine thing. I'm the same way, except for the 16 times. We're not getting to 16. Okay. Now, I am on the opposite of you. I'm a Virgo. We're not doing all that back and forth. I'm going to get real irritated, and I've been trying to control getting overly irritated. So I got to move around. Now, I think that my most feminine quality would be the nurturing and taking care of someone in like a home environment, outside too, but especially at home, and making sure that things are together, helping somebody prepare for the things that they need to do, the cooking, the cleaning, the traditional things at home. I actually enjoy a lot of them, not the cleaning.
Right.
I want somebody else to do it, but I can supervise. And I like to try to organize. I'm just not good at it. But the cooking and making sure you're okay and making sure you're taking your medicine and helping you with these things and
Taking
reminding
medicine?
you, like your vitamins, or if you get sick, you might need some medicine. You just never know. Whatever the case may be, I like being there and taking care of those things. What's yours?
My most feminine would be, I am super submissive. It's not even like when I see the arguments happen online, I'm always like, why are y'all struggling with this? It comes very natural to me. It's not even like, this could be good and bad, but thankfully it has worked out for me. I don't even need, it's not like I'm like, you better be doing this. And I am most likely coming into a situation with super submissive energy. I want to be led. That is where my femininity shines. And I don't really know where I'm masculine at. I think that maybe when I get upset and get a little attitude, or sometimes in conversation, the masculine part can come out, because I do cut people off if I have something to say. And I'm just like, shut up.
Can y'all say this? Because I feel like all of us had the same answer for the femininity, and it was about submissiveness.
Hers was about nurturing. She didn't say submissive.
You said nurturing.
And I have no problem being submissive, and to let you know why some people, not everybody, because some people it's just not in them. I don't have a problem being submissive, but issues I have run into in my own personal experience is sometimes somebody wants you to submit to them and they're not a leader. That's not your role, baby boy.
Right.
And so that's why it can't be done, because you're saying that you want me to agree with you and follow your lead, but you still asking me what to do, and not because you value my opinion, because you don't know.
Right.
So,
and if I find myself in a situation like that as someone who does just come into it, we can't do this.
It's like, this doesn't match.
Continue it.
But that's why women are not submitting to you, because every woman doesn't want to submit to just anything. Women are intelligent. We're not just walking around like
so intelligent.
Dummies, you know? I mean, some people maybe, but many women are very intelligent, and it's like, okay, I'm not about to let you lead me down the wrong path.
Right.
Because there are also men who, they're not stupid, and it's not that they don't know what to do, but they may be misleading you into a life of danger and all kind of stuff. Think about pimps. I just posted a bonus episode today. I was talking to this woman, and she was talking about how a man was trying to pimp her and how she almost got bamboozled into it.
Yeah,
well, she was already a sex worker, but
and she was in need of a pimp.
She wasn't in need of a pimp, but he was trying to act like he was really gonna date her. And then she was like, but you know. Anyway, watch the episode if you didn't watch it. It was very interesting. Yeah.
There was a woman, I saw her post online, and she was basically like, saying, like, if I don't know how to explain this to you, it's probably gonna go over your head. But if you've never had a relationship with a woman, you've never had the full body, give me some, experience of a relationship and that vulnerability, then you're living a partial life, basically. Like, if you've never experienced love, and I think a lot about how many men I've met. I had a guy friend of mine, and I asked him, I was like, when's the last time you've been in love? And he was like, I don't get that vulnerable. And it just made me sad for him, because it's like you said, like, even in what you said about like the nurturing aspect of how you are and your submissiveness, and I know how I am, it is so beautiful to be loved by somebody and to be taken care of and to have your person. And for a lot of us, I'm in my mid-30s. I don't know how old y'all are.
We are too.
Yeah, we're mid-30s. Like,
to have never experienced that, it's just like, you don't know what you're missing out on.
And then especially when you have no hope for it.
To have no hope, and not to mention at this grand age of ours, I don't want to keep doing this with different people. Like, why am I having to explain the fact, like, when people are like, why do you want a relationship so bad? I don't want to keep going on 50 first dates. And no, why can't we both just be like, I like you, you like me? Let's figure it out.
Let's get to know each other in a real way.
That's it.
And I think that I hate when I lose my train of thought. I had something real good
like
to
me?
say.
It just be like fleeting.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, there's so many good gems here.
Yeah.
But when you talk about like people not having that we are at a big age. We're at a big age, and having never experienced something like that. that is a red flag for me.
Yeah.
And get upset if you want to. Everybody has their own experiences. Everybody has their own lessons, including me, and I'm a person that applies them. I don't understand how we're almost 58 and you have never been vulnerable with someone. You've never had a real relationship. Like, what's going on? Like, what are you running from and what are you hiding? And I'm not saying that it's like, you gotta have a boyfriend, you gotta have a girlfriend to be somebody in this world, because you don't. But if you are out here dating, what are you, like, what exactly are you doing? Like, you need to just get somebody paid to just accompany you if you don't want to have real feelings develop and this turn into something real. Doesn't have to be marriage, but like the lack of connection that I'm seeing in the world is scary.
I literally, my last situationship, we were a situationship for a few months. And I asked him, he was 45, he was 10 years older than me. I said, how many women have you dated? This man told me...
The way you just censored yourself.
He told me almost 700 women. And at that point, and I asked him, he was like very red pillish. Like, we used to have these debates about, and he was like, you defend women a lot. I said, nigga, I'm a woman and this is what I do. Like,
why would you not?
And I asked him, I said, out of the 700, I said, how many fall into this category of this woman that, isn't worthy of a man in your eyes? And he was like, I don't know, maybe like 10 or 15. I said, so out of the 690 or odd so left, I said, you're the problem. I said, what hope do I have here? What hope do I have?
But do you think that has something to do with you liking misogynistic men?
Girl, but that was a different level, okay? No.
And did he really mean date them?
He said, I told him women that he
like
had came
escort
in,
date.
No. Oh. I was like date, talk to, had interest in, and all of this time. I think there was, people. And I am never the one to throw that card, but I think there was something else going on there. Because, sir, what?
Wow.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
No.
So I wanted us to talk about breakups.
Okay.
Has everybody been through a breakup? And we all made it out.
We still here.
We sweating. We lived through the breakup. Yes. What do you think? Because somebody could be going through a breakup now, even though the summertime is ending. Summer, a lot of
Seasons
relationships
do not matter.
Yeah. What do you think are some ways for somebody who really is struggling with a breakup right now to get over a breakup, to get through it?
So the advice I would tell any woman going through a breakup, especially with a man that she just can't seem to work it out with, or she's not good enough for, confidence is so important, and self-worth, like knowledge of who you are is so important, because if you don't like me, there is nothing I can do to please you. And I was going through a breakup with a guy once, and we were just arguing all the time. And I looked at him, and it was like this moment of calm came over me. And I said to him, I said, you're going to meet someone that you really like, and this is not going to be this hard. Like, relationships should have issues, but if I'm constantly like in this space of trying to like appease you by changing myself. And I'm at that age now, like, this is who I am. This is it. And it's pretty great. Like, it's a good package. So if you don't like me, it just move on, make space, because there's somebody out there that does like you. And I think this is a conversation that is a lot harder for people who have never been in a relationship. I've been loved, I've been cared for, I've been pursued, I've been taken care of, I've been wanted. And for a lot of women, unfortunately, they haven't had that. So they don't know what to look for. And when you've never experienced that, you think all attention is good attention. You're a woman, you're beautiful. You're going to get people come try to talk to you. But it's about what you accept. And so if there's somebody that I'm having to argue with about who I am as a person, and it's not one of those like changeable things, like, okay, yeah, you talk too much. Yeah, you're a little over here with this. Like, whatever it may be, that's not your person. And I look at everything in time sequence. So in 6 months, this ain't even gonna matter, right? In a year, you're really gonna be over this. In 2 years, you're gonna be laughing about the situation. So it's make space in your life, because we do not have time anymore to waste. You ain't that young no more. Stop.
And then I would say too, if you're going through a breakup, and to your point of, if you don't like me, then what are we doing here? Or it wouldn't be that hard. You need to ask yourself, whether this is a man or a woman, you need to ask yourself, do you like you? When you really break it down, how do you feel about yourself? And don't be afraid to be like, no. And then once you say no, you need to make some changes. Think about the things that you don't like about yourself and change them, because maybe you do realize you're negative Nancy, or you're always doing something that your person complained about and you don't even like that about yourself, but it's your natural thing. If you don't like it, change it. And that's something that you can work on and figure out things that you can do alone, because I tell people all the time, it's really hard to date anybody, no matter how serious it is or not, when you're not really a whole person.
Yeah.
Because what happens is you try to fill that void with this other person, and that don't usually work out. And when that person isn't there, or when that person disappoints you or hurts you, it's going to hurt so much worse. But when you feel more whole, it's just better. So work on you. It's not going to be easy, of course, but you have to have some hard, honest talks with yourself. And hopefully you have some friends or family members that you can lean on. And if you don't, well, check your attitude, and if it's good and open and positive, try to make some.
I just want to add 2 points to that too. One, a man will do the things. So if you find yourself in a constant space of like having to ask a man to do things for you, show up for you, he knows, especially once again at our age. Okay, this person has had relationships before. I've always asked men in the past where I felt the vibe was a little off, and I'm like, have you ever really liked someone? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, did it feel like this?
I wanted to ask you something, and everybody can answer it. When you say like someone, do you like me? Like when you're dating someone, y'all have had sex, you're doing all the things, we kissing in the mouth, we going out, and then it's like you keep having these arguments, and we are like, do you even like me? What do you think are some examples? Because I do think women have a hard time understanding what it means to be with someone who does not like you,
who doesn't like you,
or you don't like them, and you're just like, but he pays for stuff.
I think that someone who only calls you when they want to have sex, someone who doesn't go outside with you during the daytime, someone who calls you to check in but can't have a conversation longer than 2 minutes, someone who only talks to you about work. Whenever you try to get into the heavy conversation, they gaslight you. Somebody who just is not making progress. A man knows pretty quickly in the first month and a half if you're going to be his woman. He comes in with that intention, that vulnerability, and honestly, just trust your gut. Like, you know.
There have been times when I'm like, I know he don't like
when it ain't
me.
working, and sometimes you let him touch the cookie too soon, and you got to slow up on that. Like, because sex confuses things. And there's been studies on this, like for a woman, when we're intimate with someone, we release, dopamine, and we get like all lovey and dovey and like, oh my God, I want to be with this person. And you start to create a scenario. We are delusional. I need women to be accountable. We are extremely delusional when it comes to men. And we will create a whole mother sucker story in our head about a relationship that does not exist. And it's hard because a lot of times it's loneliness, and a lot of people are lonely. And you're like, well, I just need this man in my bed. Okay. And now your heart is broke, you know? And if you're a person that you know it takes you a long time to get over stuff, like some people can just whatever. But if you're someone that it's going to take you 5.5 years to get over this man, don't even get started with it. There is somebody out there that wants you, but we have to rewire our brain to look for the things that feel good and are good versus what just makes us tingle, because the tingling is normally not it. Like,
because we gonna tingle about
we're
a
gonna
lot.
tingle.
We're gonna tingle. Bitches gonna ting.
And even outside of sex, like when you are dealing with somebody, when you don't feel good around the person, when you find yourself feeling uneasy, and not because this man is so fine and I'm excited, nervous, but like, I don't know what to do or say because I don't want to upset this person.
Right.
I don't want them to leave. I don't know how they will react. When you find yourself being afraid to be who you really are in front of them, maybe they don't like you, but that uneasiness feeling above all else, you got to pay attention to that, because even if he likes you a little bit, or maybe he likes you a lot and he's acting weird, you still don't feel good. So what does it matter how he feels? You don't feel good.
You don't
and
feel
so
good.
don't wait on the other person to end things. I see that a lot. A lot of people, we've had advice letters like that, you know, where they'll say, every example is how this person does not like you, does not respect you, does not really want to be in a relationship with you. But because they haven't left, because they haven't called it quits, you feel like there's still something there. there's something that's offering some level of comfortability, probably a living situation.
I've been in the position that we're talking about where it's like,
all of us
but I'm the person where it's like, I know I don't like you.
And
I'm not
so
even
that's
saying
what I
it
was
from
about
like,
to
you don't
say.
like me. I know I don't like you, but there are things that I do like about this relationship. And it really is selfish, but hey, we live and we learn. I was like, I'm not gonna be the hurt one out of this, but it's so mean to do that to somebody. I realize because I've been in both positions. I don't like you, and then there's like, you don't like me. You're not really being disrespectful,
Right?
But it's like you don't really see.
You're being complacent.
Yeah,
you
don't want to grow with me.
Movement.
We're not meeting. We're not just like you said. There's no progress. One thing that really stands out though, when you know somebody doesn't like you or you don't like them, consideration is just not
out
there.
the window.
When somebody just can't consider, I understand. Like you said, like there are certain changes that I am who I am, but when you get with somebody. There are certain tweaks you have to make. Your attitude, you need to learn how to.
You want to do it for your person.
You want to do it. They tell you
and you're
something.
interested in learning about them and you care about their
They
feelings.
tell you did something that bothered them and you're not just like, well, nigga, you need to get up. No, like I want to actually know, like, well, why did that hurt you?
But I think that people bank, especially men, with the women that we have now. They bank on women never having been cared for, because a lot of people have never been in relationships. So once again, if you've never been loved properly and a man knows that, and that's why they say like, slow down telling everybody all your trauma, right? So you meet a man and you tell him, I've never had a serious relationship, or this guy, I thought we were something and, he did X, Y, Z. He knows you've never been cared for and loved. And so he's going to, and this is one of those new internet psychology terms, breadcrumb you. He's going to give you a little bit, but just never not predatory. Enough. But it's enough for you. You feel like bad for complaining. And we've been there. I've been there. And you have to just be like, yo, I'm worth so much more. And I will say this. I feel like our culture is the only culture that like beats women up for doing well in life. I'm so confused by that. Like, oh, you went to college. You got a degree. You make money. You started a business. You're going to die alone. Like, are you serious right now?
And I feel like that's so much of the incels on the internet, because it's just like in real life, in my experience, that's not happening.
No.
Men either it's not a factor for them, or they find it interesting and they want to learn more about my experience in college, not degree stuff, but just like, oh, well, what was it like living in DC? What was this college experience like? I always wanted to go to HBCU. Something more along those lines. It's not intimidating. It's not threatening. It's not any of those negative things. And I think too, what I've noticed with a lot of people, especially those a little younger than us, we do have a lot of younger listeners. Sometimes, well, really all ages, people get too caught up on what they see us, other podcasters, and just people online saying that's not real life. Again, you got to get outside and interact with people.
Grass.
Yes, touch the grass. Lay in it, roll around it if you need to, because you need to see what's actually happening. People are seeking validation in so many ways, whether it be online or through other people. They're not getting the dates. They're not getting attention. So then they go online because they want to make you feel bad, because they feel like you would never talk to them in real life or something like that, So then they want to make you feel bad for who you are. Cut that shit out.
I want to tell women, always keep it positive, make eye contact, smile a lot, don't complain. Okay. In those first few dates, like, you are a mysterious, beautiful, smiling creature. Just be happy. That's it. Don't tell a man all of your trauma, all your problems. Save that and allow a man to prove himself to you. One thing I think that's very different for men and women, and I will always say this, men have a lot of audacity. They actually have taught me quite a bit of audacity. But we as women, we think everybody's our husband. So you go out on a date with a man, you're like, that's going to be my husband. I just need to mold this the right way. Right? I got to mold this the right way. That's my man. That's my husband. But men, what they do is they'll go with you on a date and they might date you, sleep with you, hang out with you, meet your kid, meet your parents, do all this stuff. But they're still testing to see if you're that person. And so after a month or 2 months goes by, he doesn't want you, you're hurt because you've considered him husband from date 1 when he's on date 15 and he's like, I don't really like you like that. And he's probably dating other people. And so I think as women, you have to learn how to vet better. And I think that once again goes back to how much I love myself. Like I've worked really hard to get myself here. I'm expensive, literally. And so it's not something that I could just give away to somebody. Like you don't get to just touch me, take me somewhere, make me believe something, because I know how much I had to work on myself to get here. And I've been loved.
I love that you've been loved. I have been loved too thoroughly, and it feels great. I want to shout out women really quick because y'all know I got my real estate license, and my clients are women. I got a new client this weekend, and it's so funny because when I was getting into the business, I was talking to my mentor, shout out to Cassandra, and I was like, I can't remember, I was asking her something about men and women in real estate, and she was like, I really be looking at the men talking about like all the money they have and stuff so differently now that I'm in real estate, because you want to know who's buying up all of the property?
Women.
You want to know who's investors?
Women.
You want to know who's flipping houses? It's women, whether they have a man or they don't. I just met an investor. This woman, the properties that we're looking at, it's like, we're looking at apartment complexes.
Right.
Like, and I am just like, this is a Black woman.
Yeah.
Shout out to y'all.
Yeah.
Because the women got the money.
I say this all the time as a man, instead of being upset, just do better. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Black people in this country have never been in a place that we're in now to be successful. Okay? We have so many open doorways and opportunity. Yes, like I said, keep it positive. Of course, there's things happening. There's always things happening. But I look at our brothers and I'm like, and I look at all of us sitting here. We're all entrepreneurs. We've done some amazing things. The doorway is wide open for Black men to come in here and like do the things, not just the podcast, not just the balloon popping and all the things like that, but actually make a change and a difference. And that was something that was really interesting. When I lived in Colombia, I met a lot of expats, the white men, right? The women, they were coming over there and buying property. They were opening businesses. You know what the brothers were doing?
Looking for a wife.
That's very kind.
That's how we're looking for the prostitutes.
She said wife. That was very
well,
nice
I watch
her.
a lot of 90 Day Fiance.
Girl,
They'd be bringing those women back and having them as indentured servants.
No, these men were coming over there talking about it was their 8th trip in a year in Parque Lieres, and they was paying $30 for hoes. And so, and Colombia is a beautiful country. There's so much to do there. And I would meet so many brothers there that would just be like, yeah, I'm here to party. And you go talk to someone else and they were there buying their 3rd or 4th investment property. And so I just think that I will always hold us accountable. I think as Black people, we need more accountability when it comes to how we show up in the world. I think that when we start to love ourselves more and have more respect amongst ourselves, because it's like you in my house, right? Like you're not going to come in here and disrespect my house. I'm not disrespecting my house, but we disrespect our houses so much ourselves. Our brothers put us down. We're putting them down. It's so much going on. And then the second someone else does it, we get upset. But they've been seeing us kick each other down for so long. Like, you turn on any rap song and you got a woman telling a man that all he's good for is paying her bills. And I look at women sometimes because I was a stay-at-home mom for years. And I'm like, y'all really don't know how this works. You're not Diddy's, well, I ain't gonna say Diddy, but you're not some celebrities, boo thing. Like, you probably got 1 car, maybe 2. You were cooking meals all the time. You're not taking a vacation every 3 days. You're taking a family vacation once a year. You're conserving your money. You're taking care of things. You have a responsibility. So when I meet a lot of these young girls that just think like they're looking for a man to take care of them and he's going to, pay all her bills and she's going to be at the spa every weekend and in the salon every weekend. That's not how this works, baby. Like, you have to cook, you got to clean, you got to show up for him, you got to show up for that baby. And it's a lot of work. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done.
It's probably more work than if you're clocking in, because you don't clock out.
You don't clock out. And nannies in the United States are expensive. Private school is $30,000 a year, baby. Like, you gotta
daycare is high as hell.
Daycare is high.
I want to take a moment and also just shout the Black men out too, because y'all just pay attention to who you're around. Just pay attention to people's conversations. Pay attention to who people are around, because there are some phenomenal Black men. I have one.
Phenomenal Black men
that are investing their money.
Black people are not a monolith, and if you don't like the people that you are around, well, first of all, get on a blocking spree on the internet, because I've been doing that a lot.
I've been doing that too,
especially with all the politicking going on. I ain't going into it today. Don't worry.
But y'all Y'all need to vote. Y'all need to vote.
Blocking, blicky blick, blocking. It's frustrating, but pay attention to who you're around. And if you don't like those people, again, check yourself, because how do you show up? Do you just show up like the leech and you just want to be around everybody who is knowledgeable and giving stuff and you're just soaking it all up? Seek a mentor. But if you want to be a peer to these people, change the environment. And people are there. They're on the internet too. You just got to go in different spaces. Change your environment. We got to move on to Indecisive Diane, you guys. And when we come back, we are going to answer some advice questions. Well, an advice question.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? What do you want?
Hey, ladies. So listen up. This week's date idea is cater to the people that like a little bit of adventure. You like shit fast and furious. So listen, go to the Porsche Experience in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a little close to the airport. Go there. You can do the drive with the race car driver, or you can drive the car yourself. This is a pricey date, but they also have a restaurant on site. It's very romantic, very rich. Bye.
Okay, and we are back from Indecisive Diane, and it is time for the advice. If you have a question that you would like for us to answer on the show, please email us, advice@cocktailspod.com.
Okay, this is so fitting for what we were just talking about. It's titled, well, I think it is. It's titled, My Dream Man, But.
Ooh. Oh, Lord. I wonder what the but is going to be. I hope it's something light and simple.
Me
not
too.
a big deal.
But if you're writing a letter, it's probably not. Okay, she says, excuse me. Hey, babes, I'm just going to jump in. I've been with my boyfriend for roughly a year, and this is my dream man. He truly checks every box. He is tall. He is funny. He's been a solid support through hard times. The sex is amazing, and he truly makes me feel secure about our relationship and future.
Okay.
The only problem is this man is broke. Well, now I'm confused because she said he's been a solid support. Oh, I guess you can support people in other ways.
Yeah, like emotional support.
Yeah. Okay. He has a standard blue collar job. He went to college but didn't finish. And even though he lives in his own apartment, he extremely struggles financially. That's what she said. He extremely struggles financially.
Yikes.
I pay for 99% of the things we do and the experiences we have. I'm talking Michelin star dinners, trips, tickets, etc. I don't want to sound like a gold digger, but my true problem comes with the fact.
You sound like a sugar mama.
Opposite.
How do you want a girlfriend out of that? What you do?
But this is what it makes me upset about when you see the conversation, because you can tell she sees Instagram, she's listening to people podcasting, and it's like women need to do stuff, and she's trying to support the man because you don't want to feel like a gold. You're not a gold digger, sis.
Ain't nothing about this sounding like a gold
at
digger.
all.
But okay, keep going. Sorry.
I don't want to sound like a gold digger, but my true problem comes with the fact that my boyfriend will not apply himself in any way.
Okay, that's the real issue. It's one thing to be broke, but to not apply yourself.
Yeah.
But, I'll say my butt after. Majority of the time, he is complaining and frustrated with this situation he has put himself in, but will not take any accountability or actions to change. For example, he obsessively talks about going back to school and wanting to start his own business. But in the year I've known him, he hasn't taken any steps to actually work towards his dream. I've made multiple suggestions on where and how to start. Help him register for classes, but he still hasn't even moved an inch. I really don't mind paying for things, but it's the lack of motivation and drive that's killing me. This man is 30 and still going about the same motions, and it's honestly getting embarrassing for me that he's not doing anything to change his situation. I grew up extremely poor, and now that I have a decent life, I want to be able to continue to grow and have new life experiences. But it seems like his lack of motivation is stopping me from doing that. We don't live together and have talked about taking this. Don't you do it.
Don't you do it. Stop it. Stop
now, because now I'm looking at
right
you
now.
like.
Pause the car, pull over,
Because you wrote it all out and you read it. You know what you live in. And you
it didn't sound like you had spelling errors and stuff, so you probably proofread your email.
You need to stop. This the delusionitis that our good sis Shanicia was talking about.
Turn off those male podcasters right now. Get them out your ear.
Don't take no more steps.
Okay. But think about making the step to
We have
moving
talked
in.
about taking the next steps, but I don't know if I'm wasting my time hoping he'll step up to the plate. I think about if I were to get pregnant now, how I would immediately have to return to work because we would desperately need my income.
Baby didn't say nothing about marriage. She said she jumped from we don't live together. We talking about living
together.
together.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't believe in that.
That's
too.
fair, but they should.
And a lot of people are getting pregnant and being in this situation.
Not that she was planning it, but you know, I will say this.
Wait, it's not done. It's
girl,
more.
what else you got?
We desperately would need my income, and I really don't think that's something I want to do. She put a question mark after that. Oh, I know every relationship has sacrifices, but I don't know where to draw the line. I keep waiting and hoping he'll man up and get his shit together, but I also don't want to put my life on hold and wait for a Dusty. I'm okay with being...
He is a Dusty.
He is a Dusty, sis. And you might possibly be one too, but hold on. Don't take that to heart. We're going to get there. I'm okay with being the breadwinner and supporting my man. I just want to see some effort. I've told him multiple times when he starts his tangents to either shit or get off the pot. And
She's
he keeps
on a tangent.
And he keeps saying he will, but clearly he hasn't. Do these men really ever act responsible? Am I wasting the last bit of my 20s on a man who may never change? P.S. My boyfriend and I went to your live show. Yes, I paid for it. And but I got to
Did you have fun?
But I got to meet you guys and I attached a picture to the email. I love you guys so much. We love you too, girl, so much. So just keep that in mind when we're giving you this advice. Who wants to go first?
I have something different to say, so y'all go ahead because I actually am going to go a different way than what I think y'all are going to say.
Do you want to start? Okay, Shanicia, you go.
So I'm going to give the therapy answer. A lot of his issues are related to confidence. He's insecure. And you can either, if you really believe in this man, like you deeply believe in him, you can try to tackle it from that way. But I'm going to give you auntie advice. A man needs to become a man before he can lead a household or be in a relationship. And so you need to give him some time and some space to figure it out. And chances are he will, but he's having a hard time with you there with him doing it. And not to mention, you know, you hear them say like, don't date a man while he's in a bad position, because once he gets out of the bad position, he's going to look at you like, dang, he knows where he's at. All men know when they're down. And so if he can pull a woman who's paying his bills, taking him to podcast shows in Atlanta and doing all this stuff, once he gets on, he's gonna be like, dang, well, who can I really pull? And so that's why there's a difference in support and enabling. And right now you're enabling your boyfriend, and you need to tell him to grow up. And I take that back. You don't need to tell him to grow up. He just needs to do it. You need to leave. But from the sound of your email, you got about 2.5 more years, and I hope you don't get pregnant. But I can hear a woman that ain't ready to go, and she's not ready to go. Mm-hmm. So
because it was a lot of like counter.
Girl, it's a lot going on in that email.
If you was ready to go, you wouldn't wrote the email.
You wouldn't wrote the email. Anybody who's ready to go don't complain. They just leave. And so you got some time. Just baby, do not get pregnant. Okay.
I just want to say my heart, I'm sending you love and I'm sending you a virtual hug, sis, because like I have been in a situation like this where it's like you
was paying bills?
Oh, no. Like, really? No, I said there was some similarities where you want. I wasn't paying no bills.
About situations.
There were
right?
some. What I'm saying is like, you have a moment where you look at your life, you have a flash of like what your future would look like with this person. And you almost feel bad for seeing that future because it is a future you do not want. I didn't want the future. I was like, I don't want my life to be. I started to see things and I started to see him as a real person, but he was a good person. Like he was a good guy. But the way that you start looking at people's habits, some of their traits where it's like, I'm not saying I don't believe in you, but I'm saying I don't want to go on this journey with you.
Because you're going to become that person too.
Well, and I'm going to have to bear a lot of this weight. And in relationships, there's different weights that people have to take on. You got to know what weight you're willing to take on.
Yeah.
I know what weight I'm taking on and what I'm not taking on. I'm not carrying a man. The stronger that I get in my religious journey and belief, I realize like what men have to carry in this life, depending on what you believe. And you got to get your values together. You got to figure out how you want your life to go. I'm talking about down to the detail of how you want your man to be. And if you're already starting to see what you don't want and what you don't want to help somebody on their journey with, that's okay. Sometimes when me and one of my exes broke up because I was like, dang, he was taking care of me, but it was in a way that I didn't want this to be happening. It was just like, I don't want to do this. Life is not going to be good. It's going to be strugglesome. We're going to be stressed. I don't want to do this to you. I'm now not even looking at you like a man. And when you start to do that, it's hard to get it back. We're not married. I think a lot of times women get confused. Like this, you're still single.
You're so single.
You are a single woman. I am a single woman. You don't have to support somebody. And if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. Don't let the internet get in your mind and have you feeling like you got to stand up and support your man. You're not married.
Can I interject though? Where on the internet is it telling women to pay all the bills and take care of their men?
I guess because we're podcasters.
That's not in my algorithm.
Through these hard times is what they get at. I think you guys had great points, but I also want to add something to consider, and this is not a consideration that you need to stay in this relationship because I do think it needs to end.
But wait, I just wanted to wrap it up with this. Sorry. I say that to say because I don't want men to be like, and see, women don't support men. I think that about women too. A man doesn't have to support you on your financial crisis. 100%. Period.
I also wanted to add, I think this man might be actually depressed. And so aside from him needing to have the confidence and all of that, he's lacking that. And I think he might really be depressed. I'm wondering what the other aspects of his life are. You don't have to write us back and tell us this, but I do want you to talk to him and suggest that he seek professional help and maybe instead of going to the Michelin restaurants, because it sounds like you love and care about this person, but you are afraid of your future. And I don't think you are wrong for any part of that. But right now, maybe what this man needs more than a girlfriend is just a friend. And you can support him with that, whether you want to gift him a subscription to BetterHelp or Talkspace, or you know somebody, or whatever the case may be, or just putting that bug in his ear. Maybe he's not making moves because he's literally clinically depressed. Not depressed how we throw around, oh, I'm feeling depressed. No, you're really depressed. And if you go see a professional, they're going to tell you that you might need medication. It could be something even deeper. I hope that it's that and he's just not being lazy as fuck, because that's just, it's like y'all can't even be friends because nigga, you play. But if it is that, I think maybe, or even if you could consider that it's that, talk to him and ask him, I'm seeing that you're not making any progress towards any of the things that you say that you want. And it's disheartening to me. And I'm just wondering, is everything okay? Maybe you need to talk to somebody. And you're going to have to push him in that direction. Don't push him through your door into your lease and continue to stay in your life in that capacity. I do think y'all got to move around as far as the relationship is concerned.
What scares me is, since we bulk record, I really hope you see this in enough
I hope you
time.
Talk to some friends.
Could you imagine if she already moved in with him and she listens to this?
She has survivor's remorse too. And I think that's something we don't talk about a lot. She sounds like she's making great money. She likes her Michelin star restaurants. And a lot of times when you're the only one in your friend group or in your family circle community that's like that, you tend to bring people with you that don't deserve the ride. And in her case, she's bringing on this boyfriend and taking him out and doing all these things. He can't afford it. And so once again, she has to get back into herself. Go alone, sis. Save the other $150 and you might meet somebody there. But you sound like, especially if you're in your 20s, I was not going to Michelin star restaurants in my 20s. I didn't hit that part of my life till my 30s, okay? So if she's there in her 20s and she's doing that, she's looking for a companion to do those things with. So she has this person. But you were right. I heard depression, sadness, insecurity.
And if for some reason it is like, because there are some people in the world, let's not act like it, where they are like, I'm gonna hold you down, man or woman, I'm holding you down. I want to be with you and I want to do these things. I need the tools to like help you along the way. And if you think that you need that,
force him to work.
You need.
She don't want that. She wrote a letter. She wanted that. She wouldn't have wrote the letter, Medinah.
But I say, like, if you didn't want it, who would stick in it? I didn't have to write a letter to get out of it.
I don't think that there's any tricky way or any sort of wordplay that we can offer you to make him do something that he is unwilling to do for himself. And maybe he really does want it, but again, he's depressed, he's scared, whatever, because there's so many opportunities to go to school for free or cheap. Some jobs, whether they are blue collar or not, will pay for school. And I mean, trade school, I don't know what kind of blue collar job he got, but maybe you should consider trade school, because they say the men with trades, those jobs are going up because nobody wants to go to trade school.
Plumbing.
Can he go to the army?
But this is a real thing. I've had conversations with men, and I've had several men tell me this. They feel a lot of pressure on them to figure it out. It's a lot to be the lead.
I
to
can
be the
imagine.
head. And so, and they don't feel vulnerable enough or safe enough. And I understand it, because they're normally mocked, to say, this is very intimidating for me to think that I'm the one that has to, be the head of my family. And what if I get tired? What if I don't want to do it? And so that failure to launch for a lot of them, especially, she said that he's 30 years old, mentally, emotionally, he's still immature. And he's probably in that precipice of like, how do I become a man? And a man can't become a man. A male can't become a man if she's there taking care of him. She has to let him
sometimes
go.
you gotta
let him go to get it together.
And
I'm just going to give you another little piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
If you start dating somebody else, you got to look at these daddies. You got to look at their dad.
Yeah.
You need to see somebody's dad. I'm so sorry.
Their dad or whoever the father figure is, because sometimes people's daddies pass and they don't have that. But look at their whole family and see what's going on.
Because you will get a glimpse of do I want to deal with this,
and how they view it. Are they okay with this? Did they make it out okay? Probably not. What are the traumas that they're dealing with? How are they coping with them? It sounds like he got a lot going on, and I wish you guys the best, but I do hope that you encourage him to speak to somebody.
Gift him a therapy session. Therapy sessions are gifts. They're gifts.
Girl, don't gift him no therapy session.
Why? She's been spending a lot of money on other things.
Listen, I'm telling you, when he gets out of his funk, he is not going to circle back to her.
He don't have to. If she really cares about him how she does, you wish somebody the best and you give them what you can.
She done gave him Michelin star dinners. I think
he probably didn't even care about that. I do hope that you try to encourage him or help him.
I'm not saying don't break up with him. I'm saying when you do break up with him, be like, I also, my parting gift is I got you a gift on.
And y'all could be mad at me because I said that, but I need every man in these comments to be honest about that. The woman that actually helped you get it together, are you married to her right now?
My good sis who came out with the seasoning and the hair product, she is married to her man.
Yeah, that does happen.
The exception,
Tabitha. It happens.
No, it happens. So I know some people in real life. It does happen. It just depends. And maybe if you know people like that, it's easier for you to believe when you know them in real life versus anything else. Anyway, if you guys need more advice, please email us. We will try our best. advice@cocktalespod.com. And now we are going to move on to the cocktails.
Once upon a time, not long ago, I was a hoe.
So we pressed for time. So we're going to hear your story today.
My cocktail story?
Yes.
So I shared a really juicy one last time I was here. I'm not going to share that again. I'm going to tell the story. So I have this weird fear of like falling down steps and dying. Like, I don't know what it is. I have a real paranoia with steps, right? And so I was dating this guy in college, and it was my first time at his house. I went upstairs, took a shower, and he was downstairs cooking. And I was like, I oiled up really well, put a lot of oil on the bottom of my feet, put on his t-shirt.
This baby slipped down
I was like,
it's a baby oil.
When I tell you, it wasn't like a little I tumbled from the top all the way down to the bottom.
Charlotte
all you
took
heard
a tumble.
was boom, 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 all the way down the steps. And I hit the bottom, and it was really quiet. And he was just like, "Are you okay?"
Did he help you up?
No, he was in the kitchen. I was in the hallway across.
So he just heard it. He didn't
heard
even see.
It was like a loud, like very strenuous fall down these steps. And I had like carpet burn on my legs and it was really embarrassing. And
did he realize it was you that fell and not that you dropped something?
In the house.
Well, what if you dropped something?
No, it was a body.
How did y'all get over the embarrassment?
Girl, we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, just move on.
I hate falling in front of people on dates.
I definitely slipped all, and it was like a lot of stairs. It was like a 2-story nice house.
At least you didn't mess up your beautiful face.
That's fair.
Yeah, because imagine
my beautiful ego.
When you grease up and put that oil on, you don't do the bottom of your feet.
I know that now. And I was like 19, and he was real grown. He was so old.
Another episode for another day. Shanicia, thank you so much for coming again, friend. I love you so much.
I love you.
I love you so much. I'm coming on one of your retreats in 2025. Yes. I already made my promise.
And I've been to
myself.
Paradise and Vibe, and it is a vibe.
It is a whole vibe. Let everybody know what you got going on and how they can join.
I want to give a shout out to all my moms that are watching. I have a book called Oh Sis, You're Pregnant, Black Moms Blog. And if you have young daughters, we have The Girl's Guide to Puberty, which is the Girl's Guide to Growing Up. My name is Shanicia Boswell. I'm sure I'm linked here in this caption somewhere. And all of my links are in my bio. And then all of my books are on Amazon. And then I have the self-care retreats. If you're looking to release, relax, and unwind, you can find it all out on my page. So that's it.
I think it's super dope that we're 3 women here. Kiki, you'll be doing your retreat in Blue Curacao.
Mm-hmm. You keep calling it Blue Curacao. That's the liquor. It's just Curacao. It's just Curacao.
Kiki will be hosting her retreat in Curacao. If you want to go, make sure you book. We got Shanicia over here with the self-care retreat. I will be going at one of them in 2025. So. And I do Paradise and Vibe. We travel 2 to 3 times a year to all over the country. So y'all got options to travel. And everybody got payment plans.
Yes,
the world.
Plans.
There's payment plans. So one thing that I always want to reiterate to people is travel. It resets your mind and your body and your spirit. And when you send these advice letters and you have moments like our good sis did that we tried to help.
Book a trip
and get reset. Yes. Don't bring your man.
Love yourself, please. That's the only advice I can give to women. Just love you.
Yeah.
If you love you, can't nobody hurt you.
And that's if you're single or in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Love you.
That's where it starts. You guys, thank you so much for listening again this week. Make sure you check the description box for the links to everything we've discussed, all of our special promo offers and travel offers, and to check out Miss Shanicia Boswell. And also make sure you're following us on Instagram. Together, we're at CockTales Podcast. I am at Kiki Said So.
I'm at Coffee Bean D.
And until next week, you guys, goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye.
Population.
Goodbye. Bye. Bye. Sweet on the drive. Bye. Bye. Bye.